Welcome to another mini-sode of Conversations with Kelly, a podcast by the Delaware State Chamber of Commerce. I'm your host, Kelly Basil, and today I'm joined by Phil Vavala, Vice President of Government and External Relations for PICO Holding and Region President of Delmarva Power. Phil, thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me.
We're so excited to talk to you. Now, you are not new with the company, but new to these specific positions, so congratulations. The press release that was shared with us mentioned that you've been with Delmarva Power for 33 years. I thought the more interesting part of the press release was that you started as an intern. Mm-hmm. That is so cool, and I feel like we don't hear about those stories very often anymore. So tell me about your career journey.
Certainly. Thanks for the question, and it's a pleasure to be here with you today. It's hard to sit here 33 years later and say, on that day that I walked into Delmarva Power back in 1991, that I'd be sitting here, with this level of responsibility and having this conversation with you. So it's pretty exciting and it's pretty validating from a career standpoint. But I back in the early 90s, I was a student at Drexel University. I was in their electrical engineering program, and part of what Drexel provides as part of their education was to have work study. So basically, you worked in internships in the industry as a means to help, enhance your overall education as a student. And I didn't know anything about the power industry at the time. I just knew that Delmarva was a company that was hiring, and had an electrical engineering position in their system planning department. And as part of that, I applied and walked in the door early April 1991, fresh off the street, really not knowing a whole lot about the power industry. Yeah, very, very green. But what was neat about it was, and what I share with people is that it was the people and the culture that had the most impact on me. Mm-hmm. At the time I was kind of struggling a little bit academically, was trying to figure out, well, hey, was electrical engineering really something that I could be successful at doing? And through working at Delmarva and working with some very influential people that were very influential in my growth as an individual and in my career, encouraged me to continue to stick it out, to stay there. And ultimately, it turned itself into permanent employment with the company a number of years later. So it's just a great little success story in terms of working locally, working with people that you enjoy, and doing things that you enjoy doing.
Well, I'll tell you, it's inspirational to me to hear that. I started as an intern at the chamber here, and 12 years later, I'm the vice president. So it's cool to see that progression for someone else in the community. So
that's right.
You're inspiring. So you're in charge now. Mm-hmm. What are some of your top priorities for you in the role and for the company overall?
Yeah, I think a little bit about three areas when I think about areas that I'm focused on, and I'll just characterize them as affordability, mm-hmm. innovation, and empowerment. And I'll kind of briefly go into those three things there. But affordability is exactly what it sounds like. It's the ability for our customers and our communities to be able to, obviously pay their bills in a way that's effective, but also being sensitive to anything related to, economic impacts mm-hmm. on customers. And that's a top priority for us. So what we want to do is make sure customers are prepared to do so. We're offering energy assistance programs, payment arrangements, all types of things that we think are critically important because, hey, look, we know it's tough out there. And what we don't want to be is the insensitive kind of company that's like, hey, pay your bill. Mm-hmm. We want to recognize the human aspect of that and making sure that we're staying on top of that. An example of it, in 2023, we connected more than 22,000 customers with about $35 million wow. In energy assistance. And, I firmly believe, as the leader that's coming on board, that there's more that can be done in that mm-hmm. space. When I think a little bit about innovation, again, this is innovative ways for us to deliver safe and reliable service, but then also meeting increasing expectations from customers. One of the lessons learned from COVID, and there were a lot of things that we learned from COVID, a lot of things I wish we didn't learn, but one of the things I think that was critically important is recognizing the impact that reliable service has on customers on a day-to-day basis, especially people with work from home, mm-hmm. school from home, and those type of things. But there has to be a balance with that, and you need to keep bills affordable as well. So one of the things that we're really advocating for is a change, or really an alternative to our traditional rate processes that we have out there. It's what's been proposed. It's called a performance-based plan. And basically what it does is it aligns our future operating plans, our future investments in the system, things that we need for system improvements and things that we need for customers to help have a high degree of reliability. But the work hasn't been completed yet. So we're looking to try to see if there's ways for us to seek recovery mechanisms for those investments up front, so that then what that helps to do is benefit customers from a regulatory efficiency standpoint, from a transparency, and really be predictable. And really that's what this is all about. If you can help customers budget in such a way so that they understand and reduce the volatility in their cost for their average monthly bill, then we're doing the right things. The companion to that is that it's going to help the state also reach its energy efficiency goals and path to clean goals. And then under the empowerment realm, I think a little bit about just the communities that we're proud to serve. Some examples of some things that we've done is we've committed more than $2.3 million to local nonprofits.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, and again, like I said previously, we believe that there's more that can be done in that space. We don't want ourselves to be just a utility company. We want ourselves to be trusted partners and an economic engine for the state. One thing that we're very proud of is our volunteerism. Last year, we had 630 employees devote more than 17,000 hours to hundreds of organizations as part of just volunteer efforts. It's critically important to us as employees of Delmarva Power. It's critically important to our stakeholders and our communities. And one of the other things that I'm pretty proud of is we spent about $190 million in both goods and services to diverse certified providers. That's about 40% of our annual spend. And again, we think that there's more that we can do there. We firmly believe that our commitment to diverse supply is part of our fabric and part of our commitment as an organization. And it's certainly something that I want to have my leadership team and the organization as a whole focused on.
So the state chamber, we have a diverse supplier directory. And your predecessor, Gary Stockbridge, helped us actually build that out.
Right.
So I've always looked at Delmarva Power as a leader when it comes to supplier diversity. So that's fantastic.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And that's something that, again, you'll hear a consistent theme from me about. We always think there's more that can be done, and that's certainly part of how I think about the organization. Gary was very committed to our efforts in diverse supply, and based on those foundational things, we've been able to build quite a bit in that capability in that space.
Well, so much of what you described, I think, relates back to the people of Delmarva Power. Now, I'm going to give you a U.S. Census stat. 10,000 baby boomers are turning 65 years old every day, and that's occurring through the year 2029. So that's a large portion of our workforce aging out of many industries, including your own. So how is Delmarva Power preparing for that?
Yeah, that's a really alarming statistic, isn't it?
Yeah, when you put it into numbers like that.
Yeah, and I'm somewhere in between those groups of people. So I'm sitting there thinking to myself about, wait a minute, am I going to be one of those statistics very soon? But thankfully, no. But it is something that I think the power industry and all industries as a whole are really grappling with. And while we are very focused on the development and skills of our existing employees, one of the things that we're very focused on is a workforce development program. And that's representative. We think, you mentioned some demographic data. We think it should be representative of the community that we serve as well. One of the things that we're very proud of is that we partnered with Delaware State University. We have a 3-year, it's about a $1.8 million commitment with the university. And what it supports is what's called the Power Scholars Program. And that is a persistence fund. What it does is, in addition to other programs, it's a sponsorship opportunity with Delaware State University, and it's really about investing in the workforce of tomorrow. It's scholarships, it's mentoring, internships, career guidance. It's all those things that can lead to post-secondary job opportunities. And we firmly believe that partnering with institutions that are within our own footprint here, you live here, you grew up here, you go to school here, you work here.
Yeah.
And those are the type of things that create longevity. And it's obviously it's created longevity in my career as well. This summer, we had 10 students from DSU participating in internships with the company. I had an opportunity to meet these individuals at a recent internship event that I had, and I can just say that the future is bright. Clearly, the individuals that were part of that conversation are a heck of a lot more intelligent than I was when I was that age. And I am very, very, very proud that they are part of what we're trying to do at Exelon.
And are they still students, or have you hired them since?
So there's a mix. I don't really have that stat with me right now, but we purposefully really try to extend offers to as many interns as we can. Like I said, it's a very aggressive program, so we're making sure that we're assessing, engaging the talent. But one of the signs of success for us is that I think we have the largest internship program of all of the Exelon companies at PHI.
Okay.
And we are very proud that we extend offers ahead of time where we can for open engineering and other type positions.
That's
that are
really
out there.
great. What an innovative way to build a talent pipeline for your company.
It really is. Like I said, you live here, you go to school here, you work here. There's consistency and ownership as part of that.
Now, you mentioned clean energy a few minutes ago. The Energy Solutions Act passed the General Assembly, I believe this year, which authorizes processes necessary to help meet the net zero goals of the Climate Change Solutions Act of 2023. What is Delmarva Power doing to prepare for the transition to cleaner energy solutions?
Yeah, I think it starts with commitment. First and foremost is if you're committed to an idea, then all of your actions, all of your policies, all of your procedures, all of your strategy will support that idea. Delmarva is committed, obviously, to a cleaner and brighter future for our customers and communities. It's what we say. It's how we start our meetings that way, talking about what drives us. That is consistent thread that's there. What I see is I want Delmarva to be the engine that connects customers and stakeholders to clean energy sources and new technologies. That helps you enhance grid operations and keeps affordability at the forefront of the mission. You'll hear often me say, I won't talk about grid operations and enhancing grid operations without talking about affordability as a component of that. They have to go hand in hand. And that's something that's critically important. We think about customer impact in every decision that we're making at the company. The other thing that we're doing in that space is supporting projects and benefits that support of electrification through renewable energy resources. So again, we're looking at how we can partner with the state and other legislature and other stakeholders in achieving renewable energy targets. So really, it's thinking a lot about policy and thinking a lot around innovation in that space. We're active participants of the Governor's Energy Advisory Council working groups. And we'll just continue to drive and to push forward on it. That's with our stakeholders, our lawmakers, and our regulators to see what future opportunities Delaware can achieve.
Well, and I would imagine your customers and your employees also demand this innovation from you as well.
They do.
We have another episode on sustainability on this podcast, and that was one of my big takeaways is that people aren't just being told they need to do this. Their employees, their customers, they want you to do this. So it's very market driven, I would say.
It is. And I think the theme though that I would want to take away is for us to be less reactionary to what people are looking for and more in the space of trying to drive and forward policy that is good for customers, consumers, and for the environment itself. I think that's just a little bit difference between taking a passive approach to it versus an aggressive, policy.
Absolutely.
Approach there. Yeah.
Well, we're almost at time, so I have one more question for you. Tell me something about yourself that's not on your resume.
So, not on my resume is that I'm a happily married man. My wife Kate is an electrical engineer as well.
Did you meet in college?
Well, actually, we met at Delmarva Power of all places. Yeah. She was an engineer that worked there as well. She's an electrical engineer. So dinner time conversation at my house is quite fun.
My dad is from a family of engineers, so I get it.
Yeah. So we're both engineers, but I have 3 children. One is an aerospace engineer as well.
Wow.
One is actively pursuing a degree at Delaware Tech Community College. And then my daughter is 20 years old and is kind of trying to work through some things right now, but she is just wonderful in the light of my life. So that's what drives me. Outside of work, it's my family, and it's having an impact on wherever I can.
I love that. Well, thank you for joining. It was really great to meet you and talk about everything that's in the pipeline for Delmarva Power. And I think I speak for the entire business community when I say that we all look forward to working with you more.
I really appreciate your time today, and thanks for it.
Thanks for joining us for another episode of Conversations with Kelly, brought to you by the Delaware State Chamber of Commerce. Before we sign off, please take a moment to subscribe, rate, and review wherever you listen. I know podcast hosts say this all the time, but your support is invaluable, and it helps other listeners easily find us. I'm your host, Kelly Basil. We'll see you soon.